Fix burnout by rewiring your culture. In the UK, around 79% of employees say they've experienced burnout in their career. And in the US, over 50% of US workers experience symptoms of burnout the previous day. That is some pretty hard data that proves that work for so many is not working. This isn't just a few people struggling either. This is the system running way too hot. If you haven't been here before, I'm Nick, I'm the Culture Doctor, and this is Chapter 5, how you can start to fix your burnout issues by rewiring your culture. Let's go! Okay, let's go. If you like what you hear, by the way, in any of this, please do hit that like button, leave a comment and subscribe. I post new content every Sunday about how to make work more remarkable. So, if your plan is to fix burnout, but it doesn't touch behavior, control, or fairness, then you haven't got a solution. You've got maybe some form of sedative. Burnout, I'm going to describe it as the World Health Organization does, a syndrome resulting from chronic, unmanaged workplace stress, characterized by three dimensions: energy depletion, exhaustion, increased mental distance, cynicism about the job, and then reduced professional efficiency. This stuff is expensive. If we don't fix it, we've got a huge problem. And it isn't a people problem, by the way. It's a work design problem. And work design is your culture in action. Remember, at its rawest form, culture is what gets rewarded, repeated, and tolerated. And if overload is rewarded, if always on is repeated, and not adhering to boundaries is the thing that's tolerated, then your burnout isn't coincidental. It's baked into the fabric of your DNA. Burnout is a pattern problem. Check out my previous episodes about my definition of culture. Now, I've got some science about burnout. There are 6 conditions in particular that produce burnout. There's a brilliant landmark study that I love. It's from decades of burnout research, and it basically, very simply says, burnout reliably appears when there is a mismatch in 6 areas of work and life. And that's Maslach's 6 areas of work life. It's basically an organizational level cause of burnout. 6, by the way, not 60. So the first one is about workload, having too much, too fast, too consistently. The second, control. You're accountable for your thing, but you're powerless to change anything. Third, reward. Effort isn't seen, progress is not recognized. 4 is community. You've got conflict, there's isolation, there's low trust. Number 5 is all about fairness. Inconsistent rules, there's favoritism, there's politics that are taking place. And 6 is values. You're asked to do things that clash with what you believe. This is the context of burnout and why it exists in our organizations. For over 30 years, we've known that burnout is mostly about how work is designed and how you feel and interact with work in your organization. Now, this maps really nicely with what I define as culture. Workload and control is in the whys of your organizations, in targets and staffing and decision rights. The community and fairness piece, that shows up in patterns. That's how meetings feel when we connect with one another, how conflict plays out, who gets heard or not. Then you've got reward and values. That lives in the maps. Maps are the things that we see when we first enter an organization. It's the purpose, it's the value statement, it's all that good stuff. And I'll touch on sparks and leadership later in a second. But once those wires and those patterns in your organization run for long enough, then people's nervous systems adapt to survive your organization, not thrive in your organization. And you can't just give a 60-minute mindfulness webinar and hope that this runs away. This is a bit I really want leaders to hear, right? We've got evidence that shows that when organizations, they rewire work, especially around workload and tasks, then burnout does go down. It's not just we need more resilience in our organization. There's a review summary that I rate really, really highly. It found organizational interventions can reduce burnout with job task modifications. That showed the strongest and most consistent results to negating burnout. There's even a broader systemic review in a healthcare organization that found that interventions by redesigning how work gets done can reduce burnout as well, but the quality in that being critical, it does sort of vary. So yeah, like mindfulness interventions can kind of help people cope, but burnout is a systemic issue, right? Leaders, a bit of an uncomfortable truth for you. Because leaders don't fix burnout by being more inspiring and more inspirational. They fix it by making work more doable and making work more fair, right? The quickest leadership mirror is this. Put this up if you're a leader or you've got leaders in an organization. What does your calendar reward, right? What does your meeting culture tolerate? What do your targets, your KPIs, quietly reinforce every day? Because if people feel overloaded, if they feel powerless, they feel invisible, it doesn't matter how nice your office is, how cool you are as a person, because burnout is already ingrained into your DNA. And if you want to know whether you're running a burnout factory, then I've got 5 questions that you can ask yourself, 5 brutally honest questions that you can ask. Here's the first one. Do most people end the week with more unfinished work than when they started? Is that workload overload? Number 2, how much say do your people actually have in how, when, and where they do their work? That's control. Number 3, when people go above and beyond, is it actually noticed and rewarded, or is it just quietly expected? That's reward. Number 4, do people feel safe to actually ask you for help without being judged or penalized? And number 5, would a reasonable person say that decisions here are fair and transparent? Think about it. Because the real burnout intervention is in the rota. It's in the targets. It's in the manager's and leader's diary. It's not something that's sitting in an app store. So shrink the load. Don't just stretch people. Audit workloads. That's a really good place to start. Like, remove some low value tasks, automate where you can, especially in the era of AI. And evidence shows that job task modifications have the strongest effect on reducing burnout. And your people will love you for taking attention to this as well. If you're a leader, maybe it's time to trade control for some commitment. Give teams more autonomy over how and when and where they work. Work and life, they need to be merged into one, because burnout rises when people feel powerless and stuck. Don't give them that feeling of stuckness. Make fairness, make recognition super visible. Make it really transparent for why promotions happen, rationale for decisions, consistent appreciation for effort, not just the outcome. Unfairness and lack of reward, we know that this drives chronic burnout. The big thing here as well is I want people to protect recovery as a practice for high performance. Make sure you've got breaks, there's sensible meeting norms, genuine time off, flexible work where it's appropriate, where you can give it, because there's all evidence, all of the evidence shows that when we do these things, we reduce burnout in organizations. And if you want sustainable performance, then we've got to design work for human beings, not for machines that just happen to have feelings, right? Over half your people will say at some point they're burnt out. Pretending that this is just about individual resilience is like blaming the smoke alarm for the fire. Leaders, pick one of those 6 areas of work life this quarter, this week, and fix it, but properly fix it. And if you're an employee reading this, watching this, listening to this, share this with someone who has the power to redesign the way that you work. And ask them, which of these levers, which one of them are they going to move first? This has been an awesome chapter. I hope you care about this stuff as much as I do. Even if we do one thing to help our people manage their mental maintenance better, we're going to start to reduce burnout in our workplaces. I'm Nick. Let's make work more remarkable, and I will see you next time.
Okay, let's go.